Welcome to Everything Co-op, bringing you information on how cooperatives can help improve your quality of life. This show is being sponsored by the National Co-op Bank, NCB. The NCB is dedicated to strengthening communities nationwide for the delivery of banking and financial services for the nation's cooperatives, their members, and other socially responsible organizations. For more information on the power of community ownership, visit ncb.coop. That's ncb.coop. Now stay tuned for your host, Vernon Oakes.
Good morning, everybody. This is Vernon Oakes. Program is Everything Co-op. We're glad that you're with us this morning. We have three wonderful guests this morning. We are celebrating the last week of Black History Month. And the theme for this year is African Americans and labor. So we're talking about labor to three wonderful guests. We're talking with Camille Kerr, the co-founder of Upside Down Consulting, Edrinna Bryant, a co-owner of ChiFresh and Jumpstart Housing Cooperative, and Sharon Hopkins, who's the co-owner of Success Foods. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Sharon, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm great, and yourself?
Good. Okay. Camille, would you introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. Camille Kerr, Upside Down Consulting, and a co-op developer. It's been doing this work for a while.
Fantastic. Thank you guys for being on. I assume you are all in Chicago?
Yes.
Yes. We are.
Okay. So let's first start off by asking, Sharon, I want to start with you. Where did you grow up and go to school?
Chicago. I went to school all throughout Chicago as well.
Okay. Did you get any college in?
Well, I actually went to college when I was incarcerated. That's the only college that I went to. I went to college for 2 years down there. I obtained my sanitation license.
Okay. Thank you. What about you, Edwina? Where did you grow up and go to school?
I grew up on the west side of Chicago from Rockwell Gardens. I went to grammar school close by called Dodge Elementary, and then I went to high school in Lincoln Park up north.
Up north. Okay. Camille, what about you? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in California. I was born in Santa Cruz, but I was all over the state. Santa Ana for a bit, and when I chose, I was in Oakland.
So how'd you get to Chicago?
How did I get to Chicago? Oakland got a little bit pricey at some point for us, and we were doing great work here. And every time I came here, I could feel the energy and the excitement in the work, and so it just drew me.
So you're with Upside Down Consulting. Tell me, what is that, and what was your role in starting ChiFresh?
Yeah, Upside Down Consulting, we are a co-op development organization, and we're rooted in working with folks who don't have access to jobs or housing or the things they need to survive and then thrive to help them build those things. So our role in getting ChiFresh Kitchen started is really breaking down the barriers for the members to start a business. Starting a business is really hard, and so we help them navigate some of the different pieces, from the financial planning to breaking into the market to just the administrative work, and allow their genius in food and serving their community to take over and make the business thrive. But what our role is kind of supporting that more like bureaucratic back end until they take it on themselves, which is where we are today.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for the work that you do. And now I would go back to Sharon. Sharon, you said you went to college while you were incarcerated.
Yes.
So I guess the question I wanted to know is, when you got out of being incarcerated, what kind of work did you expect you would be able to do, or did you expect that you would be able to get a job?
I expected that I would be able to get a job, but I was never able to get like a well-paying job. It was more so factory work, warehouse work that, would hire people like myself because of my background. But I always work either warehouse or restaurant. Those are the two jobs that I've had throughout the course of my life behind my incarceration. My sanitation license did help me a little bit out here in the world as far as my job go. Because of the sanitation license, I was able to get, paid maybe like $1 extra, but I was always at like a minimum wage base pay because of, my background of being incarcerated. So, as far as like a good paying job, it was major labor work that we had to do, but they did not provide us with good pay. So it was always a struggle for me, providing for myself and my family, with underpaid wages.
Okay. So when we look at black labor throughout the time here in America, racism wasn't the beginning of it. What was the beginning of it was economics. How can the people in power get labor and pay them very, very little to nothing? And that's what slavery was. And for me, that's what incarceration is. It's just another way of getting labor and not having to pay. And what you experienced, Sharon, is coming out because the system has made people that have been incarcerated so tainted that it's hard to get a good paying job. So what you just said is unfortunately too much of the experience of Africans in America, where we don't have control over our labor. So, Edwina, did you have any kind of experiences similar to Sharon, what she just explained?
Yes, absolutely. Coming home from prison was a journey. Like, you will expect to be reconnected into the community, but it's so hard because everywhere you go, they looking in your background. They don't want to give you a chance on getting jobs. It took me a long time to find a job once I had family came home from prison, just from being denied. And even houses, like that's how we even got into the housing co-op. I know we'll talk about that later, but like even getting housing, like those two things go together. Finding jobs and finding a home is extremely hard coming home from prison. Like it don't really give you nothing to hope for once you've been to 6 different places in 2 weeks trying to give out applications and just being denied and not even getting a call back to be able to get a job. It's exhausting.
Exhausting, demoralizing, frustrating, and
yes.
Sharon said you can't make ends meet. Okay, so that's too many families, whether incarcerated or not, if they are black or poor. I grew up in West Virginia. I don't know if you all maybe heard this. You have more month than money. Anybody ever borrow from Peter to pay Paul?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. And unfortunately, that's too often the lifestyle of blacks still in America today. We made great strides, but too often that's still the circumstances. And that's the household I grew up in. More month than money, borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. So now I got you were incarcerated, you came out, you were facing not able to get a job, a good paying job, a job where you could take care of yourself and your family, and you couldn't get housing. So when did you get introduced to co-ops?
So how did I get introduced to co-ops is, I believe it was like in 2019, Camille had connected with Colette, which is a partnership with us and WJI, Women's Justice Institute. And she had put this flyer up in a transitional home, which my co-founder and co-owner Kim was living in there. So she sent this flyer and it was just basically saying, hey, have you ever heard of a co-op? And would you like to have ownership? And she seen ownership and she called us up like, this flyer. I don't know how true it is, but do y'all want to go find out? And to our beknowns, only us showed up.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Kim sent you the flyer or called you? Kim called you.
Kim called us. She called at the time. It was me, Renee, Sarah, her, and then we met Danny, who also was a co-founder of ChiFresh. He came through, a sister in the place told him about the flyer, and Kim called all four of us, her, me, Kim, and Renee. So that's how we ended up knowing about the flyer, because it was for formerly incarcerated, and we were all formerly incarcerated, and she was friends with each one of us through incarceration.
So Camille started all of this by sending out a flyer.
Yep.
And you said Kim was in a transitional home, so she didn't have stable housing.
No.
Did she have a family also? Did she have children with her?
Yeah, she had family. She just, Kim a big girl. She want to get out here and figure out things. She didn't want stuff just handed to her. So the Grace House is where she stayed. It's a place where another a person who was incarcerated had told her about. She ended up being accepted there, which is where she went, like a halfway house. And that's where the flyer was placed at.
Thank you, Camille. Thank you for sending out that flyer.
Yes.
Yeah, it was the start of a long and beautiful journey.
And that was 2019. That was before COVID.
That was right. Yep, 2019. And we showed up. Camille told us a little bit about co-ops, and we decided to meet with her the next week, and we met with her from that day on. We've been tied ever since. And she taught us a lot about what it is to be a co-op. We learned about, agreement. We learned about ownership. We learned that, that we had to create a culture that made sense to our community and where we had been. We wanted it to be incarceration. And we built this thing. And in COVID, in 2020 was our launch date. And just so happened COVID hit. Yep.
Okay. So I want to go to Sharon, though. Thank you so much, Edwina.
No problem.
So you were one of the first to 5 that Kim called? Sharon?
Edrinna, yes.
No, Sharon. How did you learn about co-ops?
Well, I received that same call as well. But before I received the call, I used to see, ChiFresh, all over the TV, and, I'm reading about what they're doing and how much of a great impact that they have on the community, their voices being heard, and, it was a movement that was going on. And I would always, call Kim and Sarah and be like, hey, y'all got to put me in there. This, I can see myself with this. Y'all got to have a voice now. Y'all done created a movement. So one day I got the phone call from Kim, and, she basically said, hey, it's your turn. You've been saying that, you want a part of this. You want to be a part of something that's so great. And when I received that phone call, which was last year in January, I received that phone call from Kim. And that's when, we started creating where we are at right now, which is Success Foods. We went through the finance stage. We went through the...
Hold 1 minute. I got to get something straight, though, Sharon. So what Edwina said was that in 2019, she got the call from Kim. And I thought you said, Edwina, there was a Sarah or Sharon in that first 5. Was it Sarah or Sharon?
Yeah, it was Sarah.
Oh, okay.
Sharon is just came in last year, but Sarah was a part of ChiFresh. So yeah.
So now I understand, Sharon. That was confusing me. You said you were seeing about ChiFresh on the TV and all of these different places.
Yeah.
So you came on board January of 2024, about a year ago.
Yes.
Were Edwina and Kim and Sarah and Dana?
Danny and Renee.
Danny. And Renee, you all have been on since 2019, which you're about 6 years now.
Yep.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you. So back to you, Sharon. When you got the call, you'd already had a sense of what a co-op is and what ChiFresh is, and you mentioned voice, but when you got the call, what did you first do?
Thank God.
You did what?
I thank God.
Amen.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she basically explained to me, over the phone how it would be. We would have meetings every week. Every Thursday, we had a meeting. We still have those same meetings right now today, every Thursday. Whereas though Camille, ChiFresh Kitchen, Votes, they all still walk with us hand in hand, grooming us and, helping us to become successful and to make success a success. And they're still walking with us today, just giving us all the tools that we need to become the best version of ourselves and, the best version for the community. How we can assist other people like ourselves, become a co-owner of something that's just so amazing. So, right now, success is in the process of, getting off the ground, and as I stated, ChiFresh and Votes still continuously, Camille as well, still continuously to just walk with us hand in hand, encouraging us, giving us the tools that we need to be a success in this co-op and also in the community.
Thank you. Edrinna, Sharon keeps talking about having voice. What does that mean to you? Do you feel you have voice in ChiFresh and
Yes.
Jumpstart? Yeah.
Yes, I do. When a lot of times when you go working in places that you don't own or the culture isn't where the workers coming in the door, no matter who, everybody is gonna have ownership after a year with ChiFresh, right? So I can say what I feel, and we can all come together. Everybody get to say what is needed or what they feel is needed. We learn how to make agreements together. We learn how to, everything is based off of what we wanted ChiFresh to look like. That's major. And knowing that putting this impact and this thing out here, where even when people who is not owners yet come in, we taking their advice. They have a voice in ChiFresh. They don't have to be rude. You don't have to be scared to share how you feel. Like just having that culture where it's fun and, you can say how you feel and voice your opinion without you feeling like, oh, I might get fired tomorrow, or if I say this thing, things might come behind it. Like, so just having the voice and being able to voice what your community need is the biggest thing. Like, we think the need, and Camille think the need, and formerly incarcerated, and we felt that need and also knew what that need felt like, and we had a voice in saying that this is what we need to build ChiFresh up.
What did it do for you in your view of yourself to have voice? I want to ask you, Edwina, first, and then go to Sharon.
For me to have a voice in the space that I have to walk into every day and work is relaxing. Like, it made me believe again. It made me, that hope that we talk about. Like, yeah, before incarceration, you have a hope and you have a dream that you're going to be this. I thought at 35 I would be doing this thing, but to my bananas, I was up in prison. You understand? So it gave me back those hopes and dreams of knowing that, like incarceration, they put a number on you and say, you're a number now. I'm more than that number. I'm more than what the system thought that I returned back to prison to be. No, now they have to cheer me on and know that, the whole Logan know about ChiFresh Kitchen. Like that, yes, we went through this thing, but we went out of there and created something great. Them same people that you wanted to keep and tear down, we built something great so that now when people come out, they have a stepping stone to know that, yes, you can come here, get job, found housing and all that. Like, it's a relief. Like, it's amazing. Like, I don't even know how much more to describe it. Like, I'm just proud of, having that opportunity of ownership.
All right. Thank you, Sharon. What does that voice mean to you? What does that do for you?
My voice means everything. Means everything to me. It's a sense of, when I talk, people tend to listen. And it's like you can have a voice and be in control of that voice. The way that you communicate with people, like when I come in every day when I wake up, I'm so grateful to just go to work. Every day I wake up and smile because I'm finna go to work for something that I can say, this is mine. I am a co-owner of this. And just with that feeling and that thought, knowing alone when you wake up that you finna go to work to something that you can call is yours. Oh my God, that feeling is really indescribable. It warms my heart every day that I can walk into and be like, man, this is mad. And it feels so good because the way that the people used to talk to me when I was incarcerated, it was no respect. It was, it was disgraceful, and for me to talk with even ChiFresh, employees, just with a sense of respect. You have to talk to people with respect. That goes a long way. And to be in the shoes of an owner, a co-owner, a boss, and people respect you for that. People respect what you say. People respect what you do, and it all revolves around a reflection of how you treat those same people. How you talk to those people, how you respect those people. That plays a very big part of being a co-owner and being the owner of something, because you have to deal with other people, and you have to know how to deal with those people.
All right, that gets me to my next question, and I want to ask Edrinna first.
Mm-hmm.
So you started out with 4 women and 1 guy. Now,
Yep.
I don't know if I'm being biased, but women normally don't get along. Okay. So how did you all learn to get along? You got voice now, but your voice isn't going to be the same as Sharon's or Kim's or Sarah. So how were you able to solve problems when there's a conflict, when people don't agree? How did you do that?
So we was taught with Camille Kerr and her team on how to, first we made these agreements. So we all had to say yes and vote to these agreements, and this is what we align with, and this is the way it go. So I will say that yes, everybody in ChiFresh Kitchen had a strong voice, and Camille, no, we had. It's not easy, but when you just look back at what are we doing this for, that's what it always boiled down to. Like, it's not about my personal feelings. Like, yes, I had to learn to. I just say Kim liked to play the music loud, like that's her thing at home, because I live over her too. In her car, when you get in the car, she like loud music, right? And it was something that she had to turn it down a little bit, and I had to get used to walking in the door in the morning hearing the music, right? So instead of me feeling like, oh, I don't want to hear no music or this, that, and the third, like let's come and meet a medium in between. How can she still get what she wants, and just learning them tools and them skills. And I would say for real, just having Camille now, them consultants just to advise us and, just put it back to us. Hey, this is what y'all said. This is what y'all agreed on. Like, just bringing it back to the bylaws and bringing it back to the forefront of how we want this culture to be. And just standing on the things that we put in place to build ChiFresh up.
Mm-hmm.
There's the 5th principle of cooperation. There are 7 principles of cooperation, which you all know, and Camille has taught you all that, and you've probably been doing it a lot, particularly if you meet every Thursday. But the 5th principle is the principle that caught my attention and drew me to cooperation, and that's education, training, and information. Mm-hmm. And it's continuously ongoing education, training, and information. So I get that, and having voice is extremely helpful and beneficial, and helps to raise up your view of yourself, your self-confidence. But if you don't do it with some rules and agreements,
yes,
you can tear it down just as easy as you build it up.
Yes,
what are you going to say, Sharon?
I said, if you don't do it like you said, it'll be all over the place. You'll tear it down before you build it up.
Okay. So that's the 5th principle. First principle is that co-op is open for everybody. It doesn't make any difference about age or gender or education is open if it's run as a co-op. And then there's democratic governance. There's one member, one vote. So do you all operate with democracy? Is that a part of your bylaws?
Yes.
So
Yes.
what happens, and Camille, this may be a question to you. If you've got 50 people, no, let's say you have 10 people in the group and 6 vote for something and 4 say no, and it passes democratically, but does it work?
Well, what we try to do with all the co-ops is support. I think all of us, when we start thinking about democracy, think about majority vote. And right off the bat at ChiFresh, people were like, majority vote. But as we lean into cooperative practices that really liberate us all, we start to think about, let's all consent to these decisions. So we actually try to make decisions on a consent basis first and integrate back their feedback into an updated proposal. So we're really working on, and if we got to go back to majority vote, we go back to a majority vote. But at the end of the day, people know that they've been heard and that their objections have been integrated into how we're thinking. So it's never like, oh, you lost. It's not winners and losers. It's us making decisions together.
And you said that's with a consensus vote?
Consent-based decision making.
Okay, so have you introduced sociocracy? Or is that?
Oh, we do circles, but it's not a full. It's kind of our own version. I'll say that.
Okay. All right. I thought to get 100% consent basis was unheard of. Couldn't do it. But after I've taken some training in sociocracy and get the definition of and how you do it and how it works, I like it a lot. Much better than one member, one vote, and you still could have a lot of people that are saying no and don't feel heard. Yeah.
Yeah, majority vote can hurt when you're on the non-majority side, for sure.
Okay. So now I want to talk about, Camille, I guess the question is to you. You started ChiFresh in 2020, right at the beginning of COVID. Is that correct?
We started planning, like Edrinna said, in December 2019, and we were gonna maybe launch in the summer of 2020, but March 13th, 2020 is actually when we registered as a cooperative, which is the last day before the shutdowns. And what we heard, speaking of voice from our members, what we heard from our members is, you can't make us wait till summer because some of us have lost whatever employment opportunities we even have, and some of us can't access unemployment for one reason or another, and this economic opportunity is what we need right now. So we're like, all right, we're starting a food service business, and we're starting it a couple months early, and we leaned on our partners to be our early clients and customers, and helped us get started, and now ChiFresh is kind of doing the same thing for success, being that early partner and client. But yeah, it was a rough ride, but there were a lot of opportunities during COVID as well. There were a lot of setbacks and a lot of opportunities at the same time, and we made use of those.
Okay, so those 5 members said we got to open up early.
They sure did. They tell us what to do.
That's what voice is. So the last set of questions I asked because it come out of a quote from a lady by the name of Dame Pauline Green. She was the president of International Cooperative Alliance. 10 years ago or so, some time ago on the show, she said that co-ops help people to come out of poverty with dignity. And I've studied that quote, and I get that the dignity that she's talking about is voice. And that's why I was asking you specific questions about how did you see yourself when you got voice and were not told every day what to do and how to do it, and which you couldn't do. You couldn't get a job that would pay you a fair wage. Okay. And you were dependent on the power structure, whomever that might be. So how has Edrinna, how successful has ChiFresh been? And how do you measure success?
For one, we've been successful because ChiFresh is a $2 million company today.
Wait.
I'm proud of
Wait a minute. What did you say? Hold on. Say
We're
that
a
loud
$2
and
million
proud.
company. I'm a $2 million company at ChiFresh Kitchen.
Okay.
That's been how we measure success. Being able to, get our profits at the end is something we never experienced. Like you said before, you heard Kim say, we never thought we could own a car, but to actually own a kitchen. Not only just own the kitchen, share this ownership with our community. And it's that part for me. Like when I think about community, like, we start at home and then they go to your neighbors, then they go to school, and then you start meeting the people around, and then you meet the people at the grocery stores, right? We built a community for formerly incarcerated, right? So where we're going to build up, where it's going to be people out south, where people are going to come from out west, where we're going to touch all over Chicago, where ownership is just, that's the most success. The fact that I have ownership, I know how it feels to have ownership, and that I can share that with other people is powerful. Like, that's all the hopes and dreams I need, Like, I'm just thankful for that part alone.
So you're a $2 million business today. Started with 5 formerly incarcerated folk. How many owners are there now? And do you have workers there that are not owners?
Well, we have two workers on track to be owners. Right now we still are 5 owners of ChiFresh right now. We'll be 6 like next month, I believe. We got 1 up, and then the month after it will be 7. And that's because of the other 2 choose to leave for a personal, they had their own things going on in their life, so it was their choice to go. But yeah, we got like 7. I'll say by the end of this year we'll be 9 worker owners.
And you're doing $2 million of business with 7 people?
No, that's that we don't have 7 people. It's like 13 of us, I believe.
Okay. Yeah. So you do have some employees. At the end
of it, like 9 of us who will actually own ChiFresh, and then the 2 will be following coming in the next year, and we're gonna hire people this year. So, yeah.
Wait a minute, Edwina. You were incarcerated. What are you talking about hiring people? You couldn't get a job here.
That's the beauty of it. Like being able to hire people and bring them on, and so I am one of the hiring HR as well. And when I tell you like the light up that I could imagine what Camille seen when she first introduced us to co-ops, right? But when we in the room and telling people like, not only are you going to work here and you're going to make money and you're going to have a livable wage, but at the end of the year, you're going to have that opportunity of ownership. Like the way people light up in the room to know like, I can own this thing with you, and yeah, that's just the beauty of it for me. Like, that's everything. But yeah, I'm hiring folks.
Okay. I used to own a business, and a friend of mine told me the best gift you can give anybody is to give them a job. Mm-hmm. Now, I want to amend that a bit. The best gift you can give anybody is give them a job and ownership in the company. Yeah.
Yes.
So, Sharon, tell me what is Success Foods? What is that?
We are food manufacturing where we produce healthy sandwiches on the go. We have a strawberry jam that we mix with a sun butter. We have 3 different flavors. We have a strawberry jam we mix with a sun butter. We have the cinnamon, the apple cinnamon that we mix with the cream cheese, and we also have the strawberry jam that we also mix with a strawberry cream cheese. It's all on a 100% whole wheat grain bread, and the jam is made freshly. It's made from fresh fruits, no artificial anything, no dyes in it or anything like that. It's a very it's a healthy snack. It's for all ages of people, grown, kids, whatever. You can take it to go, have it in the morning with your coffee. Everyone that we have, because Success have been doing a lot of donations with our sandwiches to really just get the sandwiches out there in the community, get everyone's feedback from it. We do tastings at schools, things like that, just to get the feedback from the community, about how they like the sandwiches. And right now, overall, it's like 95% everyone just love the sandwiches.
Can I get some so I can have with my tea, please? It sounds wonderful.
It is. It's so good. They strawberry jelly is so good. It is.
So how is Success different from ChiFresh? ChiFresh prepares meals.
Yes. So ChiFresh prepares fresh daily meals to daycares. We go to medical. We have a partnership with CVS and Rush to do medical tailored meals where we're offering clients bringing them their meals frozen, and then they get to pull one out the freezer each day. We got summer programs. We do YMCAs. But yeah, we're an institutional meal that's served and prepared fresh daily.
Okay, so both of these businesses, Success Foods and ChiFresh, is in the food side of it, but providing healthy foods for the community.
Yes.
And it sounds like, Sharon, when you were talking about the different things that you are doing to get the sandwiches out, you're all having a lot of fun working with inside the community, getting them to talking about fresh, wholesome foods.
Absolutely. I love just, communicating with the community, and also, once again, my voice is being heard out in the community, and it just gives me and Success as well, the opportunity to meet different people, to be introduced to different people, to be introduced to different things, and just being in contact with people that's such like myself as well, that's so involved in the community with the shelters, the recovery homes, the schools, just interacting with those people that already have a line of, people standing behind them to provide them with the tools and things that they need to keep their company, running and up the flow, just helping everyone out. So,
Okay.
It's amazing.
I got it. Edrinna, you're with Jumpstart Housing Cooperative. What is it and how did it get started?
Okay, so there go them voices again. So once we was able to get ChiFresh up and going, what we saw a need to as well with people coming home from incarceration is, of course you need to work, right? You need a job, you need to make money. But more importantly, you need a stable place to live, right? So everybody who was a co-owner and co-founder with me at the time had experience just going and applying for houses. They say that they're not supposed to look in your background, but they was. They'll change it to, you didn't have enough credit. So we felt the need that we needed to create something where we can give people affordable housing and where they would be able to, move in and sleep comfortably in nice neighborhoods instead of, being just shoved all the way out to the suburbs, but you work in the city. It was just a lot of denying us for housing as well. So we knew that those two went together. Housing and employment is something that people coming home from prison need.
Okay. So
I'm going to jump in for a second, Vernon, because here's what happened is we got a fancy new kitchen.
Camille, I'm sorry. This is what happened. What happened? You got to put that little. Okay.
This
No,
what
keep
had
going.
happened, Camille.
Here's what happened is that we got a fancy new kitchen, and they were like, how do we have a fancy new kitchen that they own, right? We've got a building we own, and I still don't have a nice place to rest my head at night. Like, how are y'all starting this business, and we have all of this, and I can't have a good night's sleep, you know? And so I'm not a housing co-op developer. Well, I wasn't a housing co-op developer. And now I'm a housing co-op developer because they were like, look, I don't know what your timeline is for this, but my timeline is that I need a place to sleep. And so they said, all right, you're a housing co-op developer now. And we tried we got there, but it was definitely a learning curve.
So how
Yeah,
many apartments is it? How many doors? How many families in the?
So right now we got 2 buildings, and we have 9 people who own, not just live, but they own their unit. So we got one in Burnsville, then we got one over east, and the one over
South
east,
Chicago, yeah?
South Chicago. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
South Chicago. They have 6 units with a basement, with a garage and a backyard, and they occupied with 6 new members to Jumpstart Cooperative. And then here in Brunsville, where I live, along with Kim and Naya, who are the co-founders of Jumpstart, we have 3 units with a basement, a backyard, and a garage. And we all own our units. Yes, giving ownership back in the hands where they belong.
Okay. So Camille, in a lot of communities, we talk about a co-op ecosystem. And that consists of the co-ops that are already existing, like ChiFresh and now Success and Jumpstart Housing. But there's a lot of other co-ops, credit unions, all kinds of different co-ops in the city. And then you have technical advice like you provide in Upside Down Consulting. You have to have financing. National Cooperative Bank is the bank that can help with financing. It also has sponsored this program for 11 plus years. We're in our 12th year, Camille. I can't believe it. And so you have technical advice, you have financing, you have trainings, you have to have that ongoing training. Jessica Gordon-Nimhart said in her book, Collective Courage, that training has to keep going. It's normally there in the beginning, but it has to, and I'm glad to hear you all keep having your Thursday meetings and you have to keep this training stuff going on. And you have to have legal, so you have to have all of these different things so you can start this co-op. So what's the ecosystem, Camille, that you all are working with in Chicago?
Yeah, absolutely. We've actually gotten a great shift to the ecosystem in Chicago because the city itself invested in cooperative development through ARPA funds, a $15 million 3-year investment in cooperatives. So the larger Chicago ecosystem, we were able to tap into. We use Shared Capital Cooperative and Seed Commons and LEAF for our funding, right? So we use other cooperative funders for our funding work. We use cooperative lawyers like Pathlight Law for our legal work, and like the clinic, Renee's clinic, the Community Enterprise and Solidarity Economy Clinic for our legal.
Can you get what's Renee's last name? I'm sorry.
Renee Hatcher. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Renee Hatcher. But we're also building our own kind of little ecosystem that's really just focused on formerly incarcerated folks and primarily women, right? And that ecosystem is called VOLTS, Village of Leaders Thriving in Solidarity. And we've been doing a planning process this past, 12 months or so, maybe a little bit more, to build a new membership nonprofit that is the kind of umbrella home for all of the work that we do, so that there's a formal connection between ChiFresh and Success and Jumpstart and Upside Down and the new property management co-op that we want to build, and Volts can provide new services like affordable loans to our members. So what we're trying to do is kind of build out based on needs and always being innovative to meet the needs of our members through our own kind of Volts ecosystem, which is deeply connected to the wider Chicago cooperative ecosystem.
So Volts is Village of Leaders Striving in Solidarity.
Thriving in solidarity, yep.
Okay, thriving. Okay, got it. Thank you. Okay. So I'm going to quickly talk about the principles, because when you talk about solidarity, the principles start with, co-op principles starts with self-help, self-responsibility. And that's sort of looking at how can Edwina help herself? How can Sharon help herself? But it's the last of the 7 principles, 6 in this case, is solidarity. And it's sort of like, what I have it is, you help yourself by working together in solidarity. Okay. So when you do that, consent decision making is what's best for the group as opposed to just what's best for the individual. And the capitalistic model is what's best for the individual, who has the most capital, who gets a chance to say everything and what's best for them, and they continue getting capital, continue getting wealth. And you talk about ownership, so you can have dignified employment, stable housing, community wealth building. Okay. I just find this phenomenal. So would one of you ladies tell me what's next? You've got housing, you've got the 2 businesses. What else? You mentioned something about property management co-op, but what else does your voice tell you want to create?
Affordable for life. I would say, because like in our meetings, Camille and her team, to be honest, they always got something up their sleeve.
Uh-oh.
They always coming up with things, and finances, like for cars, myself, I went out and I had to get a vehicle, didn't have the money to just outright go out and buy one. So, right now have a 2020, $650, car note a month. I really can't afford that. So it's like, in one of our meetings, Camille was like, hey, in our near future, we're going to be, creating whereas though finances, we can, finance for you guys to, get vehicles and things like that, where, they won't hijack the price up or hijack the interest rates on them, things like that. So I would say in the near future that I think that is coming, because I listen to everything Camille saying. Baby, I'm ready to get on that train. So, yeah.
We're working on it.
What did you say, Camille?
We're working on it. I think that is one of the future things, is that people need access to work. They need access to a home, and they also need access to affordable capital. Because some of the payday loan or just a car loan note, like they're paying like even 5-10 times what I'm paying in interest, and that's we trust our members so much, and like it doesn't matter what a credit score or whatever things say. We want to build our own finance ecosystem so that that money is rotating back into ourselves and not out into extractive finance institutions.
Well, I would like to make a suggestion. Using the 6th principle of cooperation is cooperation among co-ops. And that's finding your local credit union. Particularly, there's about 400 credit unions that are geared to help people from low income, low resource communities. And you might get a 3% car loan as opposed to a 21% car loan. If you look as a perhaps before you all internally can build up your capital, there may be a way, like immediately, to reducing that debt. I don't like debt because it takes money out of my pocket and gives it to somebody else in that interest rate. I have one credit card. I try to pay it off every month. That's the only debt I have. And it took years to get there. Okay. It took years. But that would be my recommendation, Camille and Sharon and Edrinna. This may be hooking up with a local credit union for your ecosystem. Because like with National Co-op Bank, one of the ways of their goal is to provide financial services for co-ops and their members, especially in low-income communities. It's like, how do you do that? Because most people in low-income communities don't have what banks look for, and that's collateral. And if you don't have collateral and some sense of bad debt, and the credit system for me is rigged for the people that are providing the credit. And I've watched it. I had an 800 credit score. I had one bill that I contested with one of the phone companies. It was a $125 bill. When they put that on my credit score, it went down to like 700. That one bill took the credit score down 100 points. It just makes no sense in the world, except for the lower they can make my credit score, if I go get debt, the higher interest I'm going to pay. So it's all designed to hurt us and help the power. So credit unions, National Co-op Bank, the Leaf, the different organizations, they're not in it to see how much cash they can get out of you, extract, that Camille said, but how can they help you get the car loan, get the house, buy the building, buy the new kitchen, whatever it is, so that you don't have to pay a huge amount of interest on it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think maybe that strategy and complementing our strategy, we always informally lent each other money. Like when ChiFresh was having cash flow issues, Upside Down would spot them, or vice versa, multiple times, Jumpstart Housing. And we wanted to kind of formalize the way that we support each other through those cash flow loans. And then members would just take out a little bit of money when an emergency came up and they needed quick cash. And so maybe what we do is the stopgaps for things that are either needed quickly or can't go through that more formalized process that a lot of our partners have. But then for the ones that can, like getting a car loan, go through that formalized process, if we can find a partner that'll give us 3-5%, then we'll just complement that for our internal needs. But it's nice to just amongst our little village be able to move money around in a trust-based way when we need it.
Yep. You sound like what the mainly ladies brought over from Africa in the boats was susus, or they call them banker ladies, where people pool their monies so that when somebody had a need, they had money for it. So, yeah. Okay, so who would like... Let me ask Sharon. Sharon, would you tell folks what kind of message you'd like to leave them with today?
Don't ever give up on your dream. Always remember that you do have a voice, and connect with other people, like yourself, other powerful people that also have a voice. Because together, you connect, there's no stopping you. But don't ever give up.
Don't ever give up. Okay. Camille, as a consultant, you have anything to add to that?
I think dream big too. I think is part of it. Like maybe we can build the world where our needs are met and we're all thriving and we're not just in a grind, and we have the spaciousness and resources we need to be okay. Maybe that's possible in our lifetimes, and maybe the ways that we're being held back now, we can fight and build something better together. So just adding to the don't give up, like let's think big together.
Absolutely, Camille.
Edwina?
And I would say that because when you think about the community, just think about, if we all can share and own this thing together, we should be working together to do that. Building up your community cooperative.
Thank you very, very much. We will be back on next Thursday. It's Women's History Month. So we're switching from Black History Month to Women's History Month. And so we could have had you on next week also, or even next month. You give us so very much. And I want to thank you for that, for all that you've shared today. And hopefully somebody out there, whether they're formerly incarcerated or just having a hard time, okay, having more month than money or borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, having a job that doesn't provide a living wage, okay, somebody always taking, that they can look to you guys. Look up ChiFresh on the webpage. Just go on Google and Google CHI Fresh. Camille, you have another way of people getting a hold of you guys?
Well, we're gonna be loud soon with look out for Volts. Village of Leaders Thriving in Solidarity. We'll be trying to make a splash soon, and we'll be celebrating our 5th year anniversary of ChiFresh launching in May. So I mean, look out for us. We'll be in your in your newsfeed.
And watch out for sandwiches.
Okay, I want some. I got how I can order some of those sandwiches now. Everybody out there, we'll see you next Thursday. Please live cooperatively. Work together.
The preceding program was paid for by Everything